welcome to Talking Down the Highway, Beach Boys podcast, presented by Strange Currencies Music. I am Matt.
I am Glenn.
I'm Tim. Hi.
Well, hello.
Hello.
Hi. We're talking down the highway.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Where
we
did we
are.
come up with that name?
I don't know.
We are.
It's pretty dumb.
Hey, anybody
Doesn't make
been
much sense.
We're not driving.
anybody been roller skating this week?
Not this week.
Okay.
It's an every other week activity for me.
okay.
And it's an off week.
I was ice skating the other night.
Oh,
Okay.
that's not as fun.
No. All right. Hey, it's been a while since we got together.
Who was playing goalie?
He doesn't play goalie.
Okay.
This guy was reffing for us though.
Oh,
And
really?
He called like 6 or 7 penalties on us,
Wow.
and it was assumed by the guy who's like the coach / captain of our team
Yeah.
that he was doing so because of me.
Yeah,
He didn't call any penalties on me,
but he called them on everyone else.
but he called like 6 or 7 on our team. Yeah,
Matt-
it was pretty
Matt
fucking
has a-
ridiculous.
Matt has a
And,
way of making
I-
enemies.
I had a
don't know.
goal and then an assist, and I better fucking get credit for both of those because the refs have to
Plug them in.
say like, hey, who's they go over to the scorekeeper and they're like, hey, 12 from 77.
This guy sounds like a jerk.
He is, yeah. He's nearly a man,
Huh.
But
not
nearly
quite.
a man.
nearly. Yeah.
Are we men?
You know who might be men? The Beach Boys.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure they're boys.
No.
That's right there in the name.
I mean, we're like 15 years into their career now.
All right.
I think they got to be men, unless they were like 2 when they started.
Hey, this is.
I mean, Carl pretty much was,
Or
right?
maybe they get frozen in between albums.
Ooh, there you go.
Yeah.
Speaking of men, now that we have big boy money, Matt has been spreading it around. I want to hear about this Marantz turntable you have here.
I don't like to talk about my purchases. It's going to give the impression that like we make money from doing this.
Oh,
which
okay.
we don't.
All right, we don't. Which is why
Not
you
enough
need,
people are talking about.
Which is
talking
why you
down
need
the
to
highway.
like and subscribe so
Yeah,
Matt
so-
can make a listening room.
All of the money we make is
no,
from the
so that
black
Glenn-
market.
So that Glenn and Tim can also make listening
Listening
rooms.
rooms.
We're like selling stem cells and stuff under the table. Oh crap! No,
You've said
perfectly
too much.
illicit and legal trafficking of goods.
Wow.
Yeah,
I actually traffic. Yeah, I've been selling on the black market bootleg copies of the Beach Boys' 1992 masterpiece "Summer in Paradise."
wow.
Yeah, that's how I've made my millions.
Wow.
Ugh, maybe we should edit this whole section out. Wait, no.
Well, I mean, hey, if the authorities are going to listen to it, at least we'll get some clicks, right?
Yeah. Good point.
And hey, feds, you can read about all of our illicit activities on
Strange Currencies
strangecurrencies.com.
music, yeah.
Go for it.
Yeah, it's on
good stuff on there.
it's on the dark web.
Yeah, it is like real dark.
Yeah, you got to have the special browser and
Like flashlight even.
yeah,
Yeah.
you got to put a drop of blood into your USB drive.
Heyo.
Yeah. Anyway,
All right. Any other happenings? We're drinking. This
are
hasn't
drinking.
happened in a while that all three of us were drinking.
And I think we're drinking.
I had a sip.
I'm
you had a
drinking.
little baby glass. You had the leftovers. So these are 16.7 ounce.
That makes it sound like backwash.
No, but like
You're
these
right.
are the cans are like 17 ounces or whatever, and the glasses will only hold about 14 or so. And so Tim you got half a beer.
Yeah.
Aren't we still feuding with Freem though?
Yeah, I wasn't going to say who we were drinking until you. Yeah,
Dang it.
yeah. That goes back to the old show. Freem, the ball was in your court for so long, and
We had
you
a
just
chance to be.
bungled it, and then Glenn came
Would
up
be
with this
sponsored.
story of really just totally bullshit frame sponsorship, which was never really that.
Hey, dibs on the T-shirt. Then I need it.
I'll dig it up.
All right, dig it up. I need that.
it.
It's really big,
Yeah.
and I don't know.
Well, Glenn is shirtless right now,
I
so
am
I
shirtless.
understand.
yeah,
I
he
could
could
use-
like you're gonna have to wear like that sweatshirt that you have on right now. Just put the shirt over that, and it'll
Okay.
be fine.
I'm willing to enter my Brian Wilson era.
Yeah.
Too soon?
No, it'll just look like you're that fake Brian Wilson wearing a fat suit in the
Okay.
in the movie.
Oh, oof. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, hey. Banter achieved, I guess.
I guess.
Yeah. Hey. Opening banter segment. We're done with that now. So let's.
We're good at this.
Yeah, we are. That's why people listen. Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. Well, hey, listeners, We're going to take a quick break, and we're going to come back and talk about the thing we're talking about this week.
We're exhausted.
Boy, that was a refreshing and much needed break.
Ah,
You know, we didn't actually talk about which beer we're drinking. It's the South Pacific IPA, which even though we're feuding with Freem, it's a pretty good beer.
Yeah.
I like it.
this sounds like more banter.
Yeah. Anyway, it's got a good character to it. All right, so last week we were talking about 15 big ones.
So
and
big.
huge, like, very very big ones.
Were they though?
15 big hot Carls.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. And this week, we're talking about.
How many big ones are on this week?
Hey,
I don't know if
back
there's-
off.
I don't know if there's big ones, but we've already said before, you don't need big ones. Like Friends doesn't have any big ones, and we love that album.
Right.
I'd argue that this album does not have big ones per se, but I think
But
we
in
might love
terms
it
of-
because it's like right in the title. They love us. The Beach Boys
yeah.
love you.
But just in terms of tracks, there's 14 big ones.
14.
Not quite as many.
14.
Wait, how many songs are on? Glenn, Tim,
How many of them? There are
being-
14 songs on this album. How many of them are big?
Oh, there are 14?
There are
Okay,
14
okay,
tracks.
all right. I thought maybe we
could
had
be a
a
rating
ca-
system or something. Yeah.
No, I thought we were having a case of Tim. Last time you claimed to also be named Glenn, so I'm just,
that's right, that's right.
That's canon. No, last time or Tim has often expressed a little bit of like eye rolling when it comes to discussing the Beach Boys' 1977 album "Love You." So I feel like we might have a little bit of some contentious banter today about this record.
Maybe. I think it's what you meant to say was the Beach Boys' 1977 album, "The Beach Boys Love You."
The Beach Boys love you. Well, originally, we'll talk context.
Yeah.
Originally, Brian Wilson loves you.
It was just Brian Loves You, according to the
loves
wiki.
you. Yeah. Oh well,
That could be anyone.
that is yeah. Could be any Brian.
Brian? The guy I went to elementary school, second grade? I don't even remember
All right,
that guy.
so
Brian
you know what?
Dennehy.
Brian Dennehy. Oh, I wish.
Yeah.
Okay,
was such a great
I would
dad.
like to discuss this since we're on the topic of the album title. It's 1977. It's the Beach Boys Love You. Brian had his name on the production of the 15 Big Ones, which is the first time Brian produced an album since Pet Sounds, right? Yeah. So 15 Big Ones, that was kind of it. But Brian's...
Now Tim's given this like ponderous look over there. Brian produced, like Smiley Smile.
Okay, but it hadn't been released.
Yeah.
Smiley Smile. Brian produced Smiley. His name was on it.
I mean, it was a Beach Boys production.
Yeah,
But, I mean, he was at the helm.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Of a lot of that.
I'm saying
Solo
that
Brian. Okay.
I'm saying that Brian's name as the sole producer, 15 Bigs was the first one, but he even himself admitted that it was kind of a meh.
Yeah, he wasn't really
effort. He wasn't really.
He wasn't at
Despite the
100%.
fact that he also said it was his favorite album.
Well,
Everyone's
I'll
his favorite
I'll
album.
drink to that.
Yeah.
All right. So, but anyways, that said, here now we have Love You, and we're in the midst of that. Brian's back because Brian's having a hard time, and I read somewhere that this was Carl. This album was Carl saying, "Brian, we love you. Let's give you an album that you can have."
Yeah, that's what I think Al claimed, was that that's how Carl felt about it. Yeah.
Right, and that this was, "Hey Brian, we love you. Put your name on this. We'll give you rain." Because maybe Carl had been kind of like piecing together the Beach Boys had been hobbling along up to now or whatever. Yeah. And that this was Brian's back. Here, Brian.
Well, and because Brian,
make your art.
He was sort of bedridden. Landy, the Eugene Landy stuff was only for like a year. Initially, 75 through late 76. And as abusive as he was, like it sounds like he was kind of a drill sergeant in the sense that, like, yeah, get out of bed, start doing this, or I'll hit you with a baseball bat or whatever.
He was like carrying a baseball bat around, threatening Brian pretty much 24/7.
Right. And so, but Brian did get out of bed and did start, he lost weight. He started writing songs. Before that, I mean, this was kind of early. This was in the 15 Big Ones era. He was on SNL as a solo artist.
Yeah. He plays Love Is a Woman, right?
His Love Is a Woman. He plays Back Home. It's Back Home, Love Is a Woman, and then a really terrible version of Good Vibrations on just solo piano, no backing. And allegedly Landy was there off stage holding up a smile sign every once in a while to Brian, so he would like smile at the crowd.
He'd probably, like, he's seeing that sign. He's like, oh, my lost masterpiece.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
So
way to go, Landy, you fucking tool.
So,
Wow.
like, he's a piece of shit, but, he's in it for the money. He's getting paid way too much. They fire him because he's charging them like $20,000 a month or something like that for his services. But, it kicked Brian in the ass to the point where he was at least, standing up and like dressing himself and writing songs and stuff.
Yeah.
Hey, wait a minute. Sounds like it's time for an episode of Heroes and Villains.
What?
That's right. It's Heroes and Villains. We're discussing heroes and the villains, whatever it is we happen to be talking about this week. And this week we're talking about Love You.
Love ya.
Yeah. Hero,
Brian.
give me a break, right? I
Yeah.
mean, this is Brian at maybe his most heroic.
The Moog synthesizer?
Hold on. I want you guys to reflect on what I just said.
No,
Brian,
yes. Okay.
at his most heroic, would you agree?
I mean, I don't know.
So
He's
we've
deep
got
in it.
we've
This
got
is
all
him
of
coming out of his like darkness.
Ooh, I don't think so. I think there's that facade of Brian's back, but Brian is going through some serious shit that's
Right.
on it, like in a different way. Like he is in this abusive
Right, for sure.
relationship now. He's going through a divorce at this point. He is in bad shape.
4
Is he
packs
going
a
through a
day.
divorce at this point?
It's on the verge of happening.
Okay.
Like the problems have certainly been there, and yeah, I don't know if the divorce has officially happened just yet, but I mean it's very, very much reflected in a couple of these songs as well too.
And so you're attributing the heroic nature of him putting out this album.
Yeah, he is like
In the
pouring
midst of
his
that.
heart
Yeah.
into this record,
Yeah.
and look, I'm gonna we talk about sometimes burying the lead and spoiling it. He is making just a beautiful piece of work here in incredibly trying circumstances. And this is maybe like just the most pure Brian that we've had since Pet Sounds, really.
Right.
And-
Even more so in terms of lyrics. And
Maybe
themes.
even more because
Yeah.
again, he writes like all of these songs. He didn't write all of Pet Sounds. Obviously, Tony Asher was a big part of that. And this is Brian, like, I don't know. There was that whole thing like, oh, let's call 15 Big Ones group therapy. This album is in its own way like Brian therapy. He's like
Right,
being
right.
harassed by this dickhead Landy with a baseball bat on the regular. And yet he is pouring his heart out on this album in this incredibly endearing and beautiful manner. And yeah, Brian's a fucking hero. Of course he is.
Yeah,
Right.
absolutely. And I would also like to give honorable mentions to Carl and Dennis because I feel like the other beautiful thing about this is that gesture of his brother surrounding him, and this album feels like this is Brian's album. It's the Beach Boys, I suppose, but it's really Brian. Dennis and Carl are like, Mike and Al are off, kind of non-existent. And
I'm having a harder and harder time thinking of Dennis as any kind of hero. I don't know. We're going to talk about Dennis a whole lot more in a couple weeks.
We will.
But
I was gonna say though, as far as Brian though, and Landy, who is on the other side, the villain side, but this doesn't really start happening until after Landy, as far as I can tell, because they got rid of him in late '76, and they start recording this in '77. I don't know exactly where the songwriting fell, but if anything, it's like Brian getting out from under him and actually excelling. Like maybe Landy gave him some weird Murray vibes or whatever, role he was filling, but probably wouldn't have actually helped him be creative. But then once he's gone, then he sort of blossoms and does this or whatever.
You think he wrote these songs under Landy's hand, or
I don't know. I mean,
once Landy's gone, these came out?
I don't know exactly. I didn't find that, but like,
See, now I feel like I remember having
them. Like, I mean, getting to the studio, doing the work, and he did like he played all the instruments basically.
Yeah.
You know, he was really focused on this after Landy.
Oh, okay. See, because I've always been under the impression that he was writing these songs basically on demand. Like Landy's
Maybe, yeah.
fucking right. Like
Well,
again,
that's
like
true, that's
threatening
true.
him.
Yeah.
And so he's like under duress, and which is why there's so much of this like slice of life element, because
Yeah.
he was not in a position in a lot of it, at least, to really be.
Like thinking deeply.
Yeah, it's like kind of, all right, I'm being forced to write, so I'm going to write a song about Johnny Carson because like somebody kind of dared me to, and I need to do something. I'm going to write Solar System because, you know, whatever. But within a lot of that stuff, you have these little moments, these little pieces where it is really, really revealing and introspective, and then there are some songs that are just very, very much like Brian pouring his heart out and stuff too. But yeah, I was always under the impression that these were like,
I do.
Brian is being forced to work here, and he's making the most of that.
There was an anecdote about Solar System specifically, where it was during the Landy times, and he
Yeah.
was just like looking at some stained glass or something, and like it had the stars on it or something like that.
Now, granted, a couple of these, at least one of them goes back quite a ways. Good Time, right? That dates back to like
72.
the Sunflower Surf's Up era.
But Villains,
Villain, I mean Landy.
of course, but Mike Love and Al both.
Oh yeah, Mike Love. Of course, Mike Love is the fucking villain.
So here's I've been reading a little bit more of this Peter Ames Carlin book, and like the part I just read is making it sound like, you know, there's a split. Obviously, at this point, Al is on Team Mike.
Yeah, Al.
But
Seriously, Al,
Al.
what happened here?
Yeah, that's right. You can call us Al. You can call me Al. What's going on, man? Like,
what it had to do with,
well, hold on though, Al.
he's
Al.
not going to call.
You never call anymore.
Stop it.
All right, go ahead.
I thought you were going to play the little trumpet part anyway. Maybe you'll put it in post.
It always goes in post.
I swear you've played it before, I think live. Anyway. So it was because the Wilson boys were drinking and drugging too much.
Oh yeah.
And Al and Mike are
They just
like
want to have a good
squares.
time.
Yeah, they just want to drink root beer. And they had like different planes, different limos, all this stuff, and that was kind of where that split came from. But you know, maybe it's because they felt so marginalized or whatever, but they're just, you know, pieces of shit about mostly the next project. But
Boo fucking who?
Yeah,
like your whole life is
Exactly.
enabled because you latched on to your infinitely more talented cousin. So boo fucking who that you had to sit in your own private plane. I had to get the smaller yacht. Fuck you, Mike Love.
right.
Yeah.
Villain.
He's over there spooning dog food into his mouth this whole time. Like,
You're gonna say spoon and Al.
Brian, come on, keep them coming, man. You know,
That might be just as bad.
dog food flying out of his mouth, and I got to go to the kibble right now because you know I don't have as much money to buy the fancy feast or whatever. That's cat food, but maybe he's into cat food too. Hey, prove us wrong. Prove us
I
wrong.
forgot to hashtag the last post is with Mike Love eats dog food.
You're kind of losing it on the social media.
Oh shit, I did, yeah.
Slipping.
Oh, I did
Anyway.
the last
Well,
two.
solid
I didn't put it on
episode
there.
of
Ugh.
Heroes and Villains there.
I am
good.
slipping.
Good
There we go.
It's a good episode.
Yeah, like how much of this is a Brian solo joint turned Beach Boys album? How much of that can we blame on Brian? Or sorry, on Mike and Al?
Yeah. I mean, again, I don't think we can blame it on Mike and Al as much as we can credit, I think, Carl for just making that decision. Hey, Brian, we love you. This is your chance to, you know, go do your art, do your thing.
Fair enough.
And so I think that's what this is. And if you listen to this album with that context, with that understanding that this is a labor of love, but it's also a little under duress maybe, you know, a lot of that villainy is still kind of simmering.
Well,
I think that helps give you some context for the.
Well, let's take a break and let's come back and listen to it. We'll do our track by track thing here.
All right, we're here to talk Love You. It's time to tackle this side A track by track.
We just talked about Tim wants to flash a tidbit.
Oh,
at us.
flash us.
Yeah.
Well, I'm the one without a shirt.
Flash a tit.
Tidbit.
I'm the one without
tidbit.
the shirt on.
That might be the segue. Glenn not wearing a shirt right now.
Yeah.
Heyo.
He needs the Freem shirt because he's pulling a Brian.
I can run upstairs and get it if you need it.
Hey, if you're gonna get me a shirt, at least grab some pants for Tim, because
A shirt would be big enough to wear as pants and a shirt.
I thought that would trigger sound and vision, which was fine because I can
okay.
I can still sneak in this tidbit.
Well, go ahead. We'll do that, and then we'll talk sound and vision.
So
we're really revealing a lot of
yeah, I know.
the flimsy infrastructure of
behind
talking
the
down the
curtain.
highway today. Yeah, go ahead.
This really should have gone in Heroes and Villains, but Brian at some point, and this I think it was just in the wiki, so whatever. But he at this point is considering like, why don't I just go solo? But he says specifically, I can't do that because the guys are gonna just want that material for the Beach Boys too. So, and when he says the guys, I mean maybe he's saying everybody, but like probably like Mike wouldn't be too happy, sort of thing.
Yeah.
I feel like Mike's always the one he's really butting heads against.
Oh yeah.
So, yeah, that's just this little tidbit about like he's still maybe he's out of the clutches of Landy, but he's still kind of like under duress, under control at this point.
under the duress of Mike Love.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and feeling like, hey, if I rip off some tracks here and go solo, they're gonna want to take those because they're playing them live, and they're gonna want to.
Right.
And that's gonna cause more problems.
Well, hey, we are going to go track by track here, but
Yeah,
Tim already, gave it away. Hey, it sounds like it's time for an episode of Sound and Vision. All right, Sound and Vision, where we discuss all things aesthetic using the scale provided to us by David Bowie. If we really like something, Glenn, we call it a
Low.
That's right, David Bowie's masterpiece. Tim, if we don't like something, we call it a
Never Let Me Down.
in which David Bowie really, really let us down.
Motherfucker.
Before we go into this, I'd like to note that I've heard that David Bowie's Low has been referred to as the equivalent of Love You.
Interesting. I mean, they came
can
out
see that.
in the same year.
Therefore, if David Bowie's Low is Low is to the David Bowie as Love You is to the Beach Boys,
And there's
Low
also a
is
comfortable
David
middle ground.
Bowie's
If we're just kind of okay with
masterpiece.
something existing, then we call it Let's Dance.
Let's dance.
David
Let's
Bowie's
I
okay.
feel similarly about Low as I do to Love You.
Hey,
Anyway, none of us are wearing shirts
I
right
think we
now.
need to reopen Heroes and Villains and throw Tim under the bus at long last. All right, this album cover.
We're all shirtless
Yes.
Album cover.
currently.
Album cover.
Oh, the cover, not
Yeah.
the back cover.
Oh, yeah, that cover.
This cover I like a lot. It reminds me of like a cross stitching pattern, that you do. But I used to do that as a kid.
Yeah. I did too. Hey, look next to you, Glenn. To your left. Down. Sharing a couch with you.
Oh, did you
Huh?
make this?
Oh, that was made for me by my great-grandmother.
It's a blanket.
It's a blanket.
It looks nothing like the cover of Love You.
Nice.
No, but it's a, it's a
It's an homage. It's in the
crochet.
It's in the air.
It's very nice.
In
I can't believe it's handmade.
General.
Yeah.
It's giving Love You. I
Yeah. Come on.
could get behind that. All
When I see this album cover, I think of that blanket.
right.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. It's colorful,
It's warm. It's inviting. It's friendly.
symmetrical.
Yeah.
While you guys are beating around the bush, I'm gonna give it a low.
It's fucking low.
It's a low.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's low.
It's a low.
Fantastic.
An album
it's
that I
like-
don't like
it's
very
like-
much,
it's like
but it's
8-bit.
kind of like this one.
It's amazing. I love it. Yeah.
But the
Well,
back cover,
back cover. Yeah. You guys were checking it out upstairs.
it's just funny because Dennis is wearing a shirt, but Al is not.
Yeah, and it doesn't look like Mike is either.
Really?
He's
Okay.
kind of obscured by the hairy beasts in front of him, Carl and Dennis.
Brian is shirtless
Yeah.
as well. It's a funny pairing for him and Al to be the ones without shirts on.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a little group photo. They probably weren't really talking to each other much at that point.
Yeah. Great stuff. It's a low.
Yeah, it's a low.
low.
It's one of the better Beach Boys album covers.
Great episode.
Solid.
All right, let's get
Solid.
into this album.
Love it.
Right off the bat, let us go on this way. Da-na-na-na-na.
Hey!
Yeah.
So
Fucking low.
This song didn't really exist at first. Like they basically Mike and Brian decided we need a rocker to like open it up, and then they wrote this song together just to give it like a little kick in the pants at the start.
Yeah.
This song is stupid.
No.
And it's cheesy.
It's fucking great.
It's not.
I love it.
See, the thing, like, I guess it's all about context. I first heard this album without having heard any of these other like terrible records of theirs from various eras. Specifically like 2020, and then the stuff from beyond this era, like going into MIU and Light Album and stuff like that. I hadn't heard any of that stuff. I still really haven't heard the later stuff, but this, I'm familiar with Pet Sounds and whatever, and then I listened to Let Us Go On This Way, and it's a bunch of haze.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Awful.
No,
and
amazing.
now, after
No,
listening
you're
to
wrong.
all the albums up to this point and understanding the context, still awful.
No.
It like
Tim.
introduces the motif of the album right away.
Yeah.
The heavy like
Just quirky.
organ
Right.
and Moog,
The Moog,
and
yep.
all
The
of
mini
that.
Moog.
Synthy.
I do like the
just
synth.
Cool.
I do like the synth.
He's doing a lot of like that bass pedal stuff.
But it
to get
sounds
the
like
bass
someone who
sound.
forgot how to write songs.
No.
Forgot how to
Stop
write
it.
Beach
No.
Boys songs. And it's just
Absolutely
like,
not.
what do we let's just do a rocker. It's kind of like add some music to your day, Like,
No.
I don't
No.
know. It's no good. Bad
no.
song. Bad song.
Bad take.
Bad take.
And
Tim's the villain.
We'll defer to Rate Your Music to settle this one here.
Oh,
I don't care about
What
it.
does Rate Your Music have to say?
3.9
Really?
Out of
Yeah.
10?
out of 5.
for Love You?
No,
The
just for
album
this
or
for
just
this
that
song.
Okay.
Yeah,
First song.
3.9.
Right.
Great song. I love it.
Yeah,
I love it.
I think it's great.
Hey,
bad.
yeah.
It's bad.
It hits you in the face.
Every
That's
time I hear
kinda-
it, it puts a smile on my face.
Yeah.
All right. Tim's wrong.
No good.
Tim's
Move
wrong.
on. Roller Skating Child.
Bad song. Here's the thing, though. So this album has a problem with pedophilic imagery, but this one, I swear to God, it says it doesn't use these words, but in the wiki, my note is Brian says not pedo stuff. It's actually about his daughters, and it specifically about Carney ice skating. But yeah, it has these weird overtones of like. I mean, there's 2 songs like this specifically on the record.
Yeah.
One of which I never interpreted that way, and that's later. We'll talk about
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
And this one, like, I also, like, I guess giving them the benefit of the doubt, I always thought, like, well, they're saying child in the sense of, like, in the 60s, that could be, that could mean anything. I don't know. But it's weird. And
It is, but
a little weird.
it is also catchy as all fuck.
yeah, I mean, I feel the same way about it as probably the first track. Like, these first couple songs, I'm just like, what is going on here? Like, this is just weird.
Yeah.
Dorky, like bizarre, out of place. I don't know, uncharacteristic, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, just some of the lyrics are like even the whole cop out of it's about my kid. Well, certainly the chorus of this song is not suggesting that.
What is the chorus? It's
And we'll make sweet love.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
that's odd.
yeah, very much so. We'll even do more.
Oh
when our
well, oh
mom is not
my.
around. Yeah,
Oh gosh,
yeah.
oh gee.
Yeah, I mean it's weird.
Okay,
but
yeah, that's true. That's pretty
I mean,
overt. Brian says not pedo stuff.
Yeah, well, I mean,
So yeah, there's that.
I wish we could blame this one on Mike, but nope. These are all Brian songs.
I mean, his mental state was.
Yeah,
Well, again, and again, here is Brian raw and like in the midst of intense psychotherapy going on.
And with no real, like, despite, whatever Mike and Al do to him in general, but, like, he doesn't really have anyone telling him no as far as, like, subject matter here. Like, it's just
In
kind of his
theory, right,
project.
right.
Yeah, in theory, no one's being like, hey, maybe you shouldn't write this song about this particular thing.
And again,
Yeah.
even as weird as maybe Roller Skating Child feels, and I mean, again, it gives another hint that maybe this is like a diary. This is like him, like not trying to, put on airs for
Right,
anyone
right.
because
He's
it's
gotta
like
write a song,
it's
yeah.
almost like he's writing this for himself, and he's not creeped out by it, and he's not expecting anyone to judge him. He's just writing a song, and it starts out thinking about his kid ice skating, and then it starts to maybe he lapses into his childhood, what it was like
high school.
Yeah, when he was in high school
yeah.
and he had a crush on this.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's like again, maybe there's some weird quirkiness
Yeah,
to
but
it.
he didn't see it that way.
No, and that I think that gives it even more depth. That this is a personal, genuine, authentic. That I think raises it up even higher.
And let's also not forget, there is one amazing part of this song right at the end. Just the roller skating child. Is that Brian?
Oh, I don't know. I think so.
I mean, we talked about this, I think, before
Yeah,
we
it's a
went to
little tough
air.
to
There's
tell.
a lot of stuff on this album where it's a little bit tough to tell if it's Brian or Dennis.
Yeah, I don't have the wiki pulled up, but I think that's probably Brian.
Probably.
He was starting to sound a little raspy at this point.
Oh, yeah, they
gravelly.
all were. Yeah, even Carl. Even Carl's starting to sound a little rough around the edges.
Sometimes you can tell, though, when he's singing, it's like, oh, okay, that's definitely him.
Yeah.
All right,
You
next.
know, the lyrics are off, but I'm going to be honest. On the next album we're talking about, there's a song with even way worse lyrics than Roller Skating Child.
Yes,
So,
yes.
yeah. All right. Now, this next one, Tim is going to piss me off because I think pretty much ever since I've known Tim, like, there's like a decade now of us having a really, really argumentative relationship over this one song.
Well, here's the thing.
Do you now realize that it's amazing?
No.
Fuck you.
But
Tim.
I think this song is dumb, but for different reasons than those other two. It's a catchy song. Like, musically, it's perfectly fine. But it's so simplistic. It's just the same four chords over and over and over. It doesn't have any structure beyond that.
Okay.
And the lyrics
What is wrong?
the lyrics are kind of meaningless. Give me some love. And the only lines. Well, I'm getting to that. So the only lines that have any actual anything behind them are the lines about the Do Run Run and
Be My Baby.
Be My Baby and Phil Spector. But who cares? Like that. I don't know.
I do.
But it's just a reference. It's it's not even.
But it's such a peek
Clever.
into Brian.
Yeah,
But that's
I
the thing.
guess.
He's obsessed still
Sure.
after all these years with
Then
those
why
songs.
wasn't the whole song
he loves
about
them,
that?
and it's this song about an obsessive crush that he has, and it's such a it's a song basically about healthy-ish maybe obsession, which is why that
doesn't
recurring four chord works because it's so persistent.
It doesn't come
over and
across
over.
as
We're gonna
obsessive. He said, "How about an 8:00 movie?"
Yeah, it's not even obsessive, but
have any of that.
persistence.
I guess.
And so those chords repeated over and over, and he's pulling out everything he can. I really like this girl, so I'm gonna show her Phil Spector because she's gonna fall in love with it.
I'm gonna make her a
Make her a
mixtape.
mixtape, exactly. And she's
Dude,
gonna fall
it
in love
sounds
with the
like-
music and thus fall
Yes!
in love. Yes,
But
it's
this song-
great.
How did you miss that, Tim?
I didn't miss any of this shit. It's not even there.
It is all there.
It is there.
And plus, it's an unfinished song. This is one of his.
Have you ever made
this
a
is one of
mixtape
his
for somebody?
feels? This is one of his feels that didn't get fully fleshed out. Is how it sounds.
I love it.
It's just kind of inconsequential.
Tim's wrong.
It's
This
so
is
good.
excellent.
It's
excellent.
It's fantastic. I
Dumb.
love this song.
Dumb.
And the little bell chime thing in there, and the punctuation of the group chorus. The
Part I like is when
so good.
Dennis pauses and there's no lyrics, and then he starts singing again.
Yeah, right before the call.
Yeah, I like the pause. I like the pause.
Yeah, and then he
no
farms it out to
lyrics.
Dennis, which cool. Whatever.
I do like Dennis's vocal.
Yeah, no, I love that song.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, love it, love it, love it. It's a definite highlight of the
It's a
album.
big one. It's a big one.
I don't know
it's
that
a
I call
low
it a
light.
big one, but I love it. I love it. All right, now here's one that you really, really love that I'm just kind of it's all right.
No, that's the thing. So the next one's Johnny Carson. I think it's funny
Yes, it is.
and stupid, really, really stupid.
Yes, and that's the point.
But so I don't know if that means I like it ironically or what, because I think it's really
No.
fucking stupid.
You don't like it ironically.
But I do like singing along.
You
to it.
like singing along. What's wrong with that?
Don't
Like,
you think he's such a natural guy?
a natural guy.
Again, this is
It's
the
like
exercise.
peak dumb.
This is the exercise of writing, of doing work. Again,
sure.
Lest you forget, there's this dude with a freaking baseball bat standing over him saying, I am going no food for you until you are productive today. Write a song. Okay, I watched Johnny Carson last night. Let me make it a song. And boom, catchy hook, earworm.
Yeah, I mean,
He can do it. Dude,
It's still stupid.
One of the greatest songs of all time, "Take the A Train," was based on the lyrics. Was based on directions to getting to his house.
Duke Ellington. To
Duke
Billy
Ellington
Strayhorn,
gives Billy Strayhorn directions to his house, and he writes "Take the A Train." And so, point being,
But
show me I can make music with whatever. Back off of me,
not
Landy.
just-
I can write a song about Johnny Carson.
But it's not
Watch me.
just the subject matter that makes it dumb. It's like the whole structure of it.
He's a real live wire.
Okay, some of it might be a little bit forced.
Boom, boom. I don't know.
It's
I guess
just,
it has to be heard. So
it's
if anyone hasn't heard,
quirky.
you got to listen to it.
It's quirky. It's different. It's odd. It's weird. It's outsider music.
Yeah.
It's outsider music.
Maybe that's why I like it.
Yeah.
Wait, why have you been trashing it then?
Because
you
the
of
rest,
all people,
because up to this point, it
should
hasn't been that.
appreciate-
It hasn't been that up to this point. Like these are songs that they think are good,
And so do I.
and they're very sort of
Earnest.
straightforward and traditional as far as songs go. Johnny Carson, it kind of is too. It's just a little awkward. I don't know.
That's what makes it outsider music. That's what makes it so great.
Yeah.
Like these
But
are
you can't
not
say that about the whole album.
These are not songs.
I mean, and I kind of bristle at the whole outside. I mean, this is a guy who was one of the most respected people in the music industry. So to call it outsider music, I mean, he's going through
at
some
this
shit.
point-
no,
and-
but that's my point.
and
though.
maybe you can.
No, but my point is when you call it outsider music, we're talking about things that like are going to be rejected by mainstream, that are going to be like, this is silly, this is bad,
Maybe.
Yeah.
and
And it was rejected essentially,
right,
by,
and
as far as sales go.
and the,
See, I don't know. It's another one of those ones that I feel is really easy to find, but I don't know. Maybe I just
well,
maybe
because
I just
again,
put
you're
too
talking about
much
Brian
stock-
Wilson, because you're talking about this genius who is accepted by the masses and so they pressed a bunch of him, but the thing that he's producing is not something for the masses. It's not. It's in which I find slightly interesting / ironic, because Al Jardine has said that they actually played these live. They played "Love You" live and toured it, and said it was some of the best songs that they've done live.
because they're great songs.
Yes, they are great songs. But my point was that these aren't intended to be
Right.
top 40 hits.
Well, and the whole thing is like
these
this
aren't
is
meant
very,
to be marketed and
This is
songs
very
that Mike Love
intentionally-
can go take on the road to the county fair.
Yeah. Total. Well, and this is very clearly separated by sides. This album.
Well,
Side
and-
one is that.
Yeah, and let's keep moving on
Right,
because
okay.
we're already at like almost 39 minutes. So good time.
Good Time is the next track.
And I know you like this one.
I love this one.
Yeah.
This is my favorite song probably on the whole album. It was written for American Spring, right? Which is the Ravel sisters, both.
Yeah, and again, it dates back to like the
70. Well,
landlocked sunflower
Right.
era.
I don't remember when the American Spring album came out, but he re-recorded the vocals in 72. So this recording is from 72, before his voice was kind of iffy. Sounds great. Super high notes that he's hitting in the chorus. I think it's a fun little funky thing. It's got those kind of castanets or treble blocks or whatever.
Yeah.
Love it. Oh, it says he re-recorded it because he didn't want it to languish in obscurity as an American Spring song.
All right. Yeah, it's good. Really good.
Yeah.
And it fits. I mean, even though it is, something from quite a bit earlier, it
think
fits in well.
I think it would have fit better on side two, just with the tone of all those, but I'm glad it's here somewhere. So I like it a lot. All right, next one.
Masterpiece.
Honking Down the Highway.
Rock and roll classic.
This is where we got the name.
Honking down the gosh darn highway. So good.
See, and I feel the same way about this one as I do Johnny Carson. Like, I love how stupid it is, but I still think it's stupid.
Oh. You know what? It might be stupid, but it's fucking great. Right? I mean, you've always said, I don't really pay a whole lot of attention to lyrics.
Honk.
And the lyrics are
down the
sure, whatever.
highway.
The lyrics are dumb, but it's so I don't know. It's endearing. It's catchy. It's fun, and yeah, I love it.
Honking
Love it,
down
love it,
the
love it, love it.
gosh
Honking down the
darn-
gosh
The
darn
gosh
highway.
darn highway.
I don't know. It's
I
like,
love the vocal delivery and
you can't even like almost can't even opine on this one as far as its quality. It's like it's just a thing that exists, and like
Because it's perfect.
it's something.
Oh, it's great. I love it. Love it, love it, love it. It's so endearing.
It is endearing.
Try
Again, how much do we love Brian Wilson? How can you listen to this and not love this guy? Like, I just want to give him a hug. Ugh.
It just that like low rumbling bass thing.
So
and
good.
It's so cool. I love it.
Yeah.
Love it, love it. It's like this is a fucking synth pop album from 1977.
Right.
It is years ahead of its time, but it is like also it's there's no time that's for it either. Like production wise, it sounds like some elements that you're gonna get to in the 80s,
Yeah.
but it's just this weird, I don't know, anachronistic like. How the fuck did anybody make this? But even in 77, like it just, it's an album on an island, and I love it.
Yep. It's beautiful because of that. Yep.
Yeah. And now, I mean, the highlight of all highlights.
Yeah, finish off the side.
Motherfucking ding dang.
Ding,
dang.
dang.
Yeah.
Ding and a ding.
You all know that this song is like the fucking meme of all Beach Boys memes, right?
I mean,
How
I guess.
so?
What do you
How
mean?
so?
Just there are so many like Beach Boy meme things that
really?
reference Ding Dang and the brilliance of Ding Dang, and it's what 57 seconds.
Yeah,
57 seconds long. Brian apparently co-wrote it with Roger McGuinn of the Byrds.
Yeah.
He apparently like plays this song for something like 8 hours in a row,
Well,
like just playing this whole thing, and McGuinn's like he's stoned out of his fucking gourd, they were like coked out or something.
Right. Well, Brian went to his house, that guy's house, to procure amphetamines.
There we go. Yeah.
And so they were doing drugs, and they wrote the song. Apparently, what's his first name?
Roger.
Okay, Roger McGuinn. He wrote the lyric. And I don't know how much of the actual music he wrote, but then like he went to bed and then he woke up and Brian was still up playing the song.
Like 8 hours later.
Yeah.
Still
Same
there.
song.
Yeah.
Was it, I imagine he's in a sandbox. Is this a sandbox?
Well, this is McGuinn's house.
Okay, at McGuinn's house.
And I'm not sure what
How
year.
long did he go sleep? How long did he sleep? What, 6 hours? Are we talking 6 hours
Well,
sleep?
Brian claims that he didn't stay there all night or something, but
when Roger woke up, he was still playing the same song.
this was an obsession. Like, I don't know what year that was, but the song had been kind of like around for years and years before they put it on this album. And he got obsessed with it, just like he got obsessed with shortening bread.
Yeah.
Like, apparently this kind of triggered that, and they're kind of similar in like rhythm. But what I don't understand is how, you read quotes of Brian talking about this song, and he's talking about this 57-second version of it, which, as far as I can tell, is part of a much longer recording session. And he's like, oh, it's a short little song. It's one of my favorite songs I ever wrote. Like, I feel like there should be some like lost perfect version of his out there that's like an hour long or something. But he seems to think
Or like 8 hours long. Yeah,
he seems to think this tiny little chunk of it is like such a great song.
Dude, could I have an 8-hour version of Ding Dang?
Let's make this happen.
Please.
Well, hey, we
Brian,
really got to move on.
Real quick for
Okay,
Ding Dang. Just
go ahead.
everyone go, who's listening, go to the Wikipedias and just go to the Ding Dang page, because there's crazy shit. There's a version of it with a different title where instead of just like woo, woo in the background, they're saying alley-oop, fucker, big tits, and like so anyway, there's all these versions, and the song itself has it's a crazy story.
Yeah. All right. Well, hey, let's take a quick break and we'll be right back.
Welcome back to Talking Down the Highway. Now we're going to talk about the good side of Love You.
The better side. They're both.
They're both
They're
good.
both great.
That's fair. I mean, it is the better side, so sure.
I would agree.
But
You're just
that first half.
I don't know. Yeah. Let's get into it. All right.
So the first half is more rockers. This one is a lot more chill. This first song is Solar System. My note is great.
It is great.
I love this song. Yeah.
If Mars had life on it,
I might find a wife
my
on it.
wife on it.
Like it's the childlike thing,
So
and it's
naive,
silly.
like,
It's very naive.
like-
but what I like about these songs is like they don't have the driving beat. They're not trying too hard to be
come on.
energetic. Like he's just like looking at the sky,
You know what?
like a
They're,
child.
they're a little more ethereal.
Yeah.
Why does music have to sound ethereal when and why does that have
These
to
just
be the
seem
way
like-
we
I mean,
reflect?
these just feel
It's a
more.
nice
Why
mo-
can't Johnny Carson be that
Well,
same
that's fine,
vibe?
but
It's a nice
I'm just saying
mode for the Beach Boys to
specifically,
be ethereal.
these songs just seem so much more authentic, so much more like thoughtful. I don't know.
Maybe I think you can look at this album though in a similar way that we did with Beach Boys Today. The first half's a little more rockin' and driving and traditional. The second one's more ballady, and maybe this is just kind of similar sort of format.
It is, yeah. As
and
far
they're
as
both
how
great. They
it's
complement each other
sequenced.
really well.
Yeah.
All right,
Good song.
The Night Was So Young.
The Night Was So Young. I like this. This reminds me of a song on Friends, right? The stars appear, but doodle-doo is no longer here. Whatever that one is.
Wake the World.
Wake the World. Yeah.
This song is gorgeous.
Yeah, I love this
It's a
song.
fucking masterpiece.
Apparently, it's written about Brian's mistress, Debbie Keel.
Okay.
All right.
That's
a Dennis vocal, I believe, right?
The vocals in this one are just fantastic. Just the Carl, doing that high part, just the harmonies, the three brothers. Great song.
Very good.
Really, really just gorgeous piece of music.
Yeah. I Bet He's Nice. I like this one.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I've got a little bit of an
Dennis, I
issue
think.
with it, though.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the Rate Your Musics here, and I find that backing vocals apparently include one Bruce Johnston.
What the fuck?
Yeah. Yeah. Don't know how I feel about him being back in the fold, but
I don't know, but the bridge here, I
he
think
better
is-
not be bringing any 15-minute long disco tracks.
Oh, I can't wait
yeah.
to see her. Wait, no, that's a different song. The bridge here, I believe, is a very nice sounding Carl, right?
Yeah, definitely Carl.
Really good song.
Yeah.
I like that one a lot.
I like it too, yeah. In fact, this whole trio of songs is often referred to as a trio. Night Was So Young, I'll Bet He's Nice, and
Let's put our hearts
Put
together.
Our Hearts Together. They're like the three most direct, like, there's not that weird,
Yeah, you
weird,
can
like
see
that
this
childlike
as-
naivete. These are like the adult songs,
Yeah.
basically on the album.
And this one's good. It's a duet with Marilyn, and I think her vocal is really good here.
Yeah.
Apparently, Brian wrote it outside his vocal range without realizing it or something, and that's why he brought her in, which seems weird. I don't know if that's true. But it's good. Yeah.
And whether or not they are divorced yet or in the process or whatever, there is that context for this duet, which adds another level to it.
Yeah, I got to look into that, their relationship status, because she appears on the next project too. So I don't know.
Yeah. But a really good song.
Yeah, and so this is the next one is called "I Want to Pick You Up." And I just want to read this quote from Peter Ames Carlin real quick. He says it's about either a disturbingly sexualized infant or a dismayingly infantilized adult. Brian says, this is not a quote anymore. Brian says it's about a man pretending a woman is small like a baby and who really wants to pick her up.
Yeah.
So I listened to the words pretty carefully on the way in. And like I've said before, I'd never interpreted it as weird or creepy at all because it starts off with, I want to pick you up because you're still a baby to me. And I just assumed they were talking about a daughter, like your kid's grown up. I wish you were still a baby, because everything in the song, all the lyrics, they're not sexual. He's like, the powder on her butt is a little weird, but like, I don't know, it's a baby, you put baby powder on them. I don't have kids. And then like give her a bath and like put her to sleep. It's about putting a baby to sleep. So I don't know.
Yeah. It's weird.
It is
Again,
weird.
remember,
Yeah.
this is Brian's diary. This is just him putting what's out there.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like that was the intention. But then if he says it's about a man pretending a woman is small like a baby, then maybe I'm wrong. And that's just how I interpret it.
And then just Dennis singing it adds to the weirdness.
Right. That, that's what it is.
yeah,
You're right.
This is like creepy.
Is that Dennis? That is
lecherous.
Dennis.
It is
singing
Dennis.
Oh,
Yeah, that's
okay.
true. You're right. Anyway,
Yeah.
problematic.
It's the low point of the album for me.
Yeah. I think it fits on the side as far as just like tone or whatever. Like it still has that kind of laid back feeling.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's I guess really creepy. Depending on if your mind's in the gutter.
I guess.
Next one's Airplane. I like it.
Yeah,
Good.
it's fine.
Yeah.
It's not one of my favorites on the album, but it's fine.
I like it. This whole side too, I literally do like to listen to on a plane when you're coming in for a landing and you're like 30 minutes out, just descending slowly. I like this one. I like the end. I can't wait to see her face.
I think the issue that I have with this one is that it's really kind of the first time in quite a while that you even remember that Mike Love is involved in this band. Because like he does nothing on the B side until Airplane. So you don't hear his voice in those first 5 songs on the B side.
Maybe that's
which
why
it's like,
I
you
like
know
the
what?
first
there,
5 songs.
There you go.
When does he appear here? Is it that last part? The can't wait part?
I don't remember exactly where, but I just know that when I listen to this album, it's like, oh yeah, Mike's still in the band. So I thought maybe they kicked him out while they flipped over the record or whatever, but yeah.
And then we close out with Love is a Woman.
Yeah, it's
I like it. I like the 1, 2, 3. She's falling in love with me. That kind of outro, or it's not the outro. It's like a bridge.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's Love is a Woman, but then there's also a quote from Brian where he says something about like a woman is love, a baby is love. Maybe Love is a Baby would have been a better title. So I don't know what the fuck's going on, Brian.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fine.
It's fine.
To me, it ends the album on a little bit of a thud. You know, I don't know when you say you really like
cheesy.
the second side better. I'm totally with you in the first 4 songs. The last 3 to me kind of dip a little bit.
The last 3 dip for sure.
So I'd honestly probably say that I'd prefer side A. But yeah, those first 4 on side B are pretty fucking great.
Yeah. I mean, there's definitely some gold here in overall.
Yeah.
And there's something to like about all those songs that I called stupid.
Yeah, there is. A lot to like about them.
But yeah, this is like, and you know, talking about David Bowie's Low, thought by many to be a masterpiece. And I feel like, you know, there's some interesting songs. There's a lot of fade-ins and fade-outs. A lot of it feels incomplete to me. And then there's this like...
Well, I mean, it's similar
this
because on the
stuff.
first side you have like this robotic electro pop thing, and on the second side all this ethereal.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I kind of see this a little bit.
See the parallels. But as far as finding a lot of copies from record stores, it did reach 53 in the U.S. and almost broke the top 50.
That sounds...
It got to 28 in the UK. But it, you know, it's sold poorly, quote unquote. But whatever that means in, you know, Beach Boys terms.
Yeah. And maybe this is anecdotal, I suppose. I feel like I see it a lot, but I've also had it on vinyl for years and years. So it's not one that I've ever had to like go and look for per se. But I don't know. I was under the impression that it was probably reasonably successful.
Yeah.
It's not as easy to find as 15 big ones. That one's all over the place for like $2 or $3. Whereas if I see one of these, they're usually 10 or 12 or whatever. But
What do I rate it?
I already know what I'm rating it. I'm rating it the same that we did for the Beach Boys catalog crawl.
We did for the catalog crawl.
Yeah, catalog crawl.
I'm trying to see now. I gotta look back up our scale.
The scale is so
rating
flawed
it now.
too.
We're rating it now.
Do you remember what I rated big
Talking
ones?
about feedback.
Big ones.
I need to keep track of this.
Yeah, you really do.
There needs to be like a wiki of all of our
I don't either.
all of our ratings of these.
I think I gave it like a Wilson Phillips or something.
Oh, stop!
Not this
No,
one.
no,
Not this
no.
one. Big ones. Big
last
ones.
one.
Oh my gosh.
I think I gave it a David Marks.
Okay.
In fact, I think you did too, Tim. But
Really?
maybe I'm
Okay.
imagining.
So it's down in the 2 range. Because I don't want to rate this one anywhere near
You better
as
not.
bad as that.
You better.
better,
fucking
yeah.
not.
But like
seriously.
my general, like just breaking it down mathematically, I do probably only really love like 52% of it.
Oh, you're wrong.
But then there are those songs that I like, even though they're dumb, like "Honk Down the Highway" and Johnny Carson. So that bumps it up a little bit more. So I guess I'll give it a Carl 4.0.
Oh, okay.
Glenn.
I mean, my initial thought was Carl, like strong, solid Carl.
Well, maybe I should give it an Al then, because you guys like it more than I do.
But hearing your assessment, maybe I do need to give it a Dennis. It's Carl and Dennis. It's right there.
Because my first thought was maybe an Al, but I felt like that might be too low.
Yeah. It's not an
It's not now.
Okay, I'll give it a Carl. I'll stick with Carl. You want to go Dennis?
I want to go Dennis.
It's a Dennis.
Yeah.
And a very, I would say, very solid Dennis. Yeah.
Firm
Dennis.
Okay.
Yeah. It came in at number 6 on the catalog crawl with a 9.3 rating.
Wow.
Yeah. 9.3. Same score that we gave Sunflower.
Hey, I mean,
Yeah. I think it's fucking phenomenal. I love it.
dare I say it's a masterpiece? No.
It's not quite at that level. Like, honestly, there's the 2 pretty cringy songs on it.
Okay.
I don't know. I would not begrudge anybody who said that they thought it was, their favorite Beach Boys. Like, it is so unique and endearing.
The weird, but what I think is weird about that is, like, I think if casual Beach Boys fans were aware of their full catalog, I think you might be right. Someone might be, oh, it's my favorite one. But I feel like casual Beach Boys fans only know, like, the 60s stuff. Wouldn't even know about this album. So you have to go into, like, more hardcore Beach Boys fans who are not going to pick this as their favorite. And they're going to say, Pet Sounds or whatever.
Well, here's the thing. There's something magical, mythical, honest, different, quirky about this album. And we alluded to this in our pre-recording talks, but Patti Smith famously
what did she say?
wrote a review of Love You when it came out in 1977. And it's kind of long. It's a poem. It's not like a traditional review. And it's kind of long.
It's not like Patti Smith to write a poem.
but this, I think she nails it. And I'm just going to read a couple of pieces from it. She says, "But what got the best of Brian Wilson? He too is beyond judgment. His music, laced with tender cynicism, seems to exude from a dead man with memory, someone impossible to bury. Love you. I believe he does. I believe they do. I don't live it, but I believe it." Don't laugh at this.
Yeah, come on.
You're into it or you're not.
Keep going.
You're into it or you're not, she says.
Oh, okay.
He cannot be judged. It doesn't matter. One couldn't possibly presume to pick Johnny Carson apart like a rival chicken. I don't think the Beach Boys are part of this game. The treacherous mania of need. I think they make their records and stroll off into the sunset with their hands in their pockets. And I think after everyone's gone, when he's all alone for no apparent reason, Brian Wilson bursts into tears. Not necessarily unhappy ones, manic, monotone, in the privacy of his own barbecue. Maybe it won't last, but what do we care? My baby and I just want a good time.
Well, she quotes the best one.
Right?
I think it's fair to let Patty have the last word.
I think so.
I mean, they definitely don't play that game, like she said. But I also want to have the last word.
Screw you.
Well, while we're talking about last word, I'm also just going to mention on the Rate Your Music page, one of the genre tags is Moogsploitation.
Moogsploitation.
Yeah. All right, well, let's take one last break and we'll come back to wrap it all up. Back to wrap it all up. That Patti Smith.
Yeah.
She is one
Bless her.
sharp cookie.
Yep.
Yeah, she gets it.
She gets it.
She's
Tim,
national treasure.
You're into
why
it or
can't
you're
you
not.
get it, Tim?
Seriously.
Yeah.
He's not. Whatever.
Well, she didn't exactly say.
Merely giving this album a 4 out of 5.
Right.
Come on, Tim. Come on. Get your life together, man.
I appreciate you for playing the clown.
Hey, and here's something that look.
I meant every word I said.
We're moving forward with this whole podcast thing, and apparently there were Beach Boys albums after this one.
Yeah.
And let's just be fucking honest. It gets pretty dire.
Right.
Like, this is a last gasp. And
Well, not the last gasp, but
not
a
no,
last
not
gasp.
yeah. It is. It is the last one that got released that I just kind of don't want to forget about.
Right.
Yeah. All right. Well, hey,
but just
go
you know,
ahead.
I
really
just,
quick.
I just want to say I don't remember the part of the Patti Smith poem where she said, "I like this album." Anyway, go on.
Just
or the songs are good.
Stop it, you. All right. Well, hey, we'll be back next week, and we'll catch you then.
Bye.
Later.